What makes people mistrusting of modern medicine and the healthcare system? Tuskegee definitely didn't help. But honestly, with a rising push of pseudoscience and the growing distrust in authority, it's a natural fit to not trust the science when it comes to healthcare authorities. I'm a physicist myself. I spent years getting Y undergrad and graduate degrees. I spent years in a lab learning, studying, improving. Some dude who scored a 12 on the ACT comes along on his YouTube channel and says something to the contrary. People believe the YouTuber because it's easier to understand than the actual science. People believe that when we learn and improve, the science was wrong. That's a stigma that's hard to fight with so much propaganda out there. There are so many obstacles between patient and provider. I think the problem lies with the sick and dying. Sick people need medicine, and unfortunately sick people are bad advertisements for products. Dying people need hospitals and, again, dying people are bad advertisements for hospitals. We have a for-profit medical care system. As a result, all medical and surgical decisions are based ability to pay. That's the reason doctors cannot be trusted. Their advice is based on maximum profit. Our healthcare is actually the best in the world. Our healthcare coverage is not. People trust scientists and the science to an extent. Even scientists have questionable funding. It's the corporations that people don't trust. I don't think there is one major pharmaceutical company that hasn't put profit before people. From personal experience, it's usually the people who are scared that turn to natural medicine, etc. Cancer can hit everyone at any time without it being their fault. That's scary. Believing that this one homeopathic medicine will stop you from ever getting cancer is easy. Unfortunately, they then often blame people who are sick because they just didn't do the right thing to stop it from happening. I have a chronic health condition, and the amount of BS these people tell me is so frustrating. And underneath it all is always them trying to shame me for not believing in the magical power of their cure. Have you seen a medical commercial lately? May cause feelings of dread, hives, anxiety, anal leakage, or death, and this is the medication they're trying to suggest will cure my arthritis. I don't have arthritis. This is an example. How about I don't know researching what causes inflammation? Oh, it's ultra-processed foods? Okay, cool, what are those? IT is literally everything? Why is our food killing us? So, when you ask why does modern medicine receive flack, the answer is, because there is profit to be made to keep us just on the edge of death, and the only answer is curated drugs. For me, one big one is the OxyContin problem that happened in the United States. Absolutely disgusting. Because being ill is traumatizing, and for many, part of the trauma comes from the interactions with medical staff. If it takes 6 years for your symptoms to be diagnosed, if they dismiss your concerns, belittle you, if they order unnecessary tests or procedures, all of that erodes your trust in the system. And then when it's all over, they bill you thousands. It makes sense that people don't trust the medical system. Because they have misdiagnosed me multiple times and almost killed me twice. Once from a misdiagnosis and once during a surgery. I have become very knowledgeable about what conditions I have and work with my doctors on my treatment plan and don't leave everything up to them. If I don't see eye to eye with a doctor specialist and feel that they aren't listening and want to control my care, I fire them and find a new one. Even if I have to drive 4 hours to see them. My cardiologist, endocrinologist, and nephrologist are across the state from me. I won't see anyone else. I tried a nephrologist closer, but they were awful. Be your own advocate. Learn your conditions and about new and old treatments for them. Learn the lexicon. Do not be afraid to tell any of them no. Just don't be a jerk about it. Cover-ups, corruption, bribery internally, etc. Lack of education and a decline in critical thinking skills. I mean, there are something like 250,000 deaths per year in the US alone that can be attributed to medical malpractice, so that's probably a good start. Ignorance. 2 words: opioid epidemic. They can't afford it, so they'll seek alternatives. And defend those options because, well, they can't afford traditional medicine in the USA anyway. When they kill off people with bad diagnoses, routine procedures, etc., it explains a lot. Doesn't necessarily mean a person is totally anti-vax. Science and DRs aren't the same. 795,000 Americans die or are permanently disabled every year due to misdiagnosed medical conditions. Source: https://www.usnews.com. New Shelf News Articles 2023-07-20 New Report Measures Scope of Damage for Medical Mistakes: www.usnews.com. New Shelf News Articles 2023-07-20 New Report Measures Scope of Damage for Medical Mistakes. My problem is when doctors can't find anything to help you with, they just escort you out of their office as fast as possible, and they bill you the full amount even though they did nothing. It makes me feel like going to them will cost me an arm and a leg and accomplish nothing more often than not.